Astrotometry log. It is April 22nd, 2010. It's approximately 1941 UTC. This is a follow-up to the last Earthquake Watch video through the 25th, and I wanted to make a commentary. It's approaching the end of the 22nd right now, and we haven't seen the event that I was expecting yet from this coronal hole signature. And I want to make a couple comments on this, and I am still looking for a quake from this event. I'll be looking for it through the 25th of April. And this signature is unusual. This isn't the same sort of pattern that I have seen in the previous forecasts that I've done. And there's a few things about this that are sort of interesting, and I'm sort of possibly in a position to be learning from this particular occurrence. And I wanted to go ahead and say what I know about this so far. The indications are that this isn't going to be necessarily California if it is in the Northern Hemisphere. It's possible that this will be a Southern Hemisphere event. I'm calculating from this feature right here, this active region right here, that this will be a Northern Hemisphere event rather than a Southern Hemisphere event, because this part of the coronal hole does not have a active region. And when I'd seen this once before, this mirrored configuration, these features here, these active region features, seem to be component. And so there's something that's coming in and out. If you can imagine a three-dimensional loop similar to this loop over here, that is a fractal of this feature right here that exists in this coronal hole that moves into the sun and out of the sun, but that is invisible because we can't image the sun in the frequencies that are actually being disturbed here. And so this is how I'm modeling it conceptually. This is how I'm modeling this disturbance conceptually. And in previous features, it's been simpler to figure out how it maps because the entry and exit point are singular. And so this is a sort of mirrored configuration, and I'm having to sort of guess about this. Now, if this feature is a northern feature, if this quake is a northern quake that is hypersymmetric with this disturbance, and this is the shape, the same shape as the area of disturbance on the Earth, this aligns possibly with the plate around Greece and Italy. And I don't want to put something like that in my log. I didn't want to put that in my log, but that seems to be after I made the previous log, that seemed to be what was indicated by this. I don't think this is going to be California, but again, for this particular thing, I don't really have any good indications of where it's going to be. And that's why I just used this latitude basically for this event. It could be that the latitude is more along this latitude rather than up here though. And so if it's actually on this latitude, it might be a little farther towards the equator. And so that being said, the geomagnetic activity from this disturbance is starting to come in now. And so we're seeing this disturbance, and I'll go ahead and show you. If you watch the BZ component here, you'll see the fluctuation as the time progresses here on the 22nd. So we're seeing right around 1500 UTC, we're seeing this swing back and forth with the BZ component on the Earth's magnetic field. And so this visually, it maps out like this. This is the previous disturbance from the last watch. And then we had this more or less calm period. And then now we're moving into this period where the BZ component is swinging. And that's the thing that is sort of indicating that the hypersymmetry that's associated with the time-space mapping in astrotometry, that's why I'm modeling it, is coming about, is coming about. And so you see this swing in the BZ component. It's going up and down over the north-south pole. and so the polarity is actually flopping around a little bit on the polarity up in the up in orbit. And so we're seeing this as the auroral activity up in the northern regions. This is the aurora ring, time based, and so the geomagnetic activity is increasing. And I'm not expecting, like I said before, this to be this particular event to be in California, mostly because now I'm seeing this is the latest 195 angstrom image. This is the latest one, and come over the eastern limb is western limb is another feature that looks similar to the San Andreas Fault again. And so whereas this is the disturbance before, when this active region came around, we can see that there is this feature that looks similar to the San Andreas Fault again. And so it looks like there is going to be another shaking on the fault, possibly not as bad as the one before, because this disturbance isn't as bad. But if this is a hypersymmetry between this other event, that forecast might change. And so I'll be doing another forecast for this coronal hole in the coming days. But please don't panic about this. This isn't something that I think that people should panic about. I wish I could pinpoint it. I wish it was possible. That's the goal of this project, is to be able to say exactly where these events are going to be, so that it would be possible to evacuate. But this is a scientific log, and so don't use this for emergency response. And please don't take this as like the end days or something like that. This is not what this is about. This is a discovery. It's very exciting, and that's my excitement is about the possibility that this will lead to accurate forecasting of these events, so that we'll be able to get people out of their dwellings before these sorts of events. I do think that it's possible that these events are going to increase in number and severity in the coming years, but that is that's not something I've proven. And so that's something I'm concerned about. I don't think it's anything to get panicked about. It's not the end of the world. And so please don't use this as anything other than scientific information. I'm trying to get other people on board with adopting this, and I've had limited success, mostly because of the method. The method is so unusual and so sort of counterintuitive that people haven't yet sort of embraced it. And I'm hoping that'll change after there are more forecasts that are accurate. And so as far as this one goes, I'm still watching until the 25th at least on this particular event. Probably still expecting it to be in the Northern Hemisphere, probably not in California, probably not in North America, probably not, in other words, not the San Andreas Fault. I don't know for sure about that. I don't really know. But from the shape of this, the shape that I was able to correlate most closely with it, looks a little bit like the plate around, or the fault lines, should I say, around Greece and Italy. But that is just a guess, and we shall see soon, because this geomagnetic event is arriving now, and so probably in the next couple of days, I would imagine we'll see a fairly significant event. Hopefully not in a populated area. Thanks for watching.